This is my first session.
But already we do, I mean, we are discussing about something called a JavaScript related stuff. If you are good in JavaScript, then it's fine. We can continue, or else please do let me know. Okay.
Okay. I know JavaScript. I want to continue.
So I'm just sharing my screen, guys. Please do let me know once you guys can see my screen. Okay. As I mentioned every time, I'm just opening my chat window and as well as the participants list. But if you still have anyone, please do let me know. Okay. Okay. Now, earlier we discussed something about this HTTPS protocols and three-tier architecture. What is a full stack and how the JavaScript will be, and what are the callback functions, asynchronous functions, and synchronous functions. We discuss something about promises with examples. Just go ahead and try to what it is called, practice some things. Okay, and then we discuss something about sync await and this stuff. I guess okay. Veera is here, Rajesh is here, Sandeep is here, Divamshi is here. Oh, Tejashwini is missing. Instead of Tejashwini, Tirumal Roy is here. Okay, give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Really sorry. Today I have a lot of back-to-back calls, but that's fine. Okay. Okay, fine. So in the last session, as we discussed, right? Okay. Before going to start my session, the very first point is, Rajesh, you have given some number, but I tried to add your number in a WhatsApp group, but I'm not able to add because I don't know why your WhatsApp number is not working. Can you please recheck this number, please? Rajesh, are you here?
Hello.
Yes, Rajesh. We tried
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
but it
yes,
is
sir. I am already in a group.
in a group. Okay, that's fine. Then it's fine. Okay, so I asked few people to add your to add your questions or something, whatever you have. I'm just removing this one and try to remove this one. I don't need all this. Okay, somebody asked Sandeep asked about the event loop in Node.js and JavaScript, and somebody Divyansh asked like map filter reduce and hosting and all. Okay, we will discuss few things about these things today. How many of you are really know about this map filter reduce these three methods? I mean, probably you are aware of, like we are using a vanilla JavaScript earlier, but later when the ES6 came to the picture, there are lot of new features are added. Out of all those features, map, filter, reduce, these things can be applied only on the array methods, only on the arrays. So these are the very new functions or new what it is called things in a ES6 concept. So you guys tell me, like, how many of you are really aware of this map, filter, and reduce? If you are not aware of, then we will discuss from the scratch. I think everybody can chat here. Please put everyone in the meeting. You can see my screen. Everyone in the meeting here in the drop down, and just type something like if you are really able to, chat or not. Okay. Let's start with the map, but first tell me, able to see. Okay, Veera is answering like, okay, able to see. But how many of you are aware of map filter reduce? If you don't know, please do message here like, don't know. Be proactive, guys, please. It's already 15 minutes of time. Only hosting Rajesh knows, but remaining everything, okay, Rajesh don't know about a map filter and reduce. Okay, I know map and filter, Sandeep, that's fine. Okay, map and filter, Divyansh Shahu. Okay, that's it. One, two, three. As we discussed, out of six people, if three people are answered, then I will go ahead and continue with the session. Okay. Okay, so this is my VS Code. Earlier, I have discussed something about a closer and all that. I just commented out everything. So I will just go with the new concepts today. So let me keep here. చెప్పండి. So you guys can already know about what is an arrays. I'm not going with the very simple things like what is an array and all. Definitely people are aware of. So I'm just writing some simple, very simple code. Okay. So as you are aware of what is a let and const and where. So these things comes to the picture when we are discussing about something called a hosting. Okay. So we will discuss about a hosting and all. And don't worry, I will go with the one by one concept. Okay. So let's start with the map function. Okay. Basically, what arrays look like. Let's say you are taking one array, array, and let's say it's a square bracket. Inside the square bracket, we will mention like whatever you want. You can just put it here. For example, I have something like a number, something like a 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Let's say, for example. Okay. If you want to just print this array, there are a lot of possible ways. But if you want to print a complete array at a time, basically what you will do, simply you will put an array here. Okay. I'll just run this code and I want to show you like how the array will display here. Okay. So node space file1 dot JS. Okay, you can see like okay 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 are my elements. These are the numbers, already number data types. So that is the reason these are printing in some yellow color and okay. Basically I have some plugins and all, so that is the reason maybe it is printing everything. Like there are other ways. The traditional for loop you can use. So basically for loop you can use something like a for let idx equals to 0. Okay, idx is less than equals to array dot length. Basically array dot length is a predefined method, or array dot length and idx plus plus, etc. If you go on this way, you can iterate over the each and every element of an array. For example, let's say array of idx. This is one of the possible way you can do. Okay, save. Now if you run the code, see, you can loop over or iterate over each and every element of an array. Okay, there are a lot of other methods like for each, for in. There are other ways as well, but we don't need to. These are really not relevant here. That is the reason I'm just skipping those things. That is the reason, guys. Every time, just always keep this particular MDN open and just go with that and try to understand what is this. There are a lot of methods out there. Array dot from is array is of push, pop, shift, unshift, flat map for each. So basically what happened, right? These are the predefined methods which are really useful when you are doing any what it is called any problem solving by using an arrays. When you are going for any interview, right? People will ask a lot of questions on arrays, like how you can remove the starting element of an array, how you can add the ending element of an array, something like that. So you need to just go with this something called leadcode.com. Okay, I strongly suggest you go to leadcode.com. If you are aware of this thing, then it's fine. If you are not aware of them, then immediately please start this one, leadcode.com, and try to explore the things. You have something called a explore option is there, or some questions is there. If you just log in into the here, right, and you can see a lot of questions like by using a Java or JavaScript or anything, but try to use by using a C plus sorry, by using a JavaScript and try to solve the problems. This is I strongly recommend, whether it is a Geeks for Geeks or Hacker Rank or Lead Code, anything is fine. Okay, so just read about this arrays. So first of all, we will go with something called a map function. Okay, so what is the map function here? Okay, so basically, map is a function. Okay, it is a predefined function. Basically, this will work on each and every element of an array. See, there are a lot of other things, like as I mentioned, like by using a simple for loop or for each also you can do that. But I strongly use, I mean, basically in real time we definitely use a map function, because let's say you are having a three-layer picture, and similarly, let's say there is a client call, and you are calling from client to the middle layer, either Node.js or Java or REST endpoint or anything. From there, you are calling one database. From the database, you are getting some values in a format of arrays. Definitely, if you go use a MySQL or PostgreSQL, definitely the objects will be there, collection of objects that will come into an array format. So now you need to manipulate that array based on the requirement. For example, front-end guys are asking only the uh, objects which are names starts with yes, let's say that is one kind of scenario. So usually you need to return some values from that. You don't need to call it from the server side itself. Let's say some people, what they will do, they will send the entire object to the front end. In the front end itself, obviously we are using either React or Angular, so definitely, or Vue.js or whatever the framework, for simple vanilla JavaScript. Definitely, what people will do, they will write a JavaScript code inside the front end side itself. And remember one thing, whatever you are using a map function will not change the existed array. I mean, it's like original array. This will always apply only on the each and every element of an array, and it will create another array. That is a major point you need to remember. Okay. So map will apply only on the elements of an array and creates a new array. So basically how we can do this one. Okay. We can do something like a array dot array.map. Okay, so this is how we can use. Why this is coming like this? Array. Oh, I'm sorry, capital letters. Array dot map. Okay, and remember one thing: always map function will take one argument. Sometimes it will take two arguments. This argument is not required, but definitely you need to use the first argument. That is a mandatory argument. If you have any questions, I'm just going here and I'm showing you like a map function, array prototype dot map function. So the map method array instance creates a new array populated with the results of calling a provided function and every element in the array. That's it. Very simple. So instead of writing a for loop and for each, map will execute very fast. So people may get a question. So inside the map, definitely they are using a for or for each or for in something like that, right? Then how come this map is really fast and compared with all those things? Basically, when you are using a loopings, right? Every processor will even right, in a JavaScript it is a single threaded and it's a single threaded. So basically, what we will do, we will just every in the call stack, each and every loop will go there. Okay, so basically we will pass only one callback method. There are functions, lot of types. Functions is really a very big concept, but I don't want to bring that concept here again. So that is the reason I'm continuing with the callback function. So it's a callback function in the sense that it can be a normal function or nameless function or arrow function, anything it can be. Okay, so basically what callback function look like, you can write something like this function. See, this is one way. Okay, it will work. Or there is another way. If you want to do this here, you can use something like this array function. This is also another way. Okay. Now, only the thing you need to remember is you need to pass one function callback inside the map function, and inside the map function or callback function, whatever you are passing, that will be the argument of a index of the element. Simply, I can say the element and the index. So basically, this is a callback, right? So I will give you one more thing. Okay. So map is a function. Inside the map function, we will pass one callback. Okay. So basically, what we will do inside the callback function, we can pass any number of arguments. So this is the syntax for the map function. And inside the callback, what we will do, we will pass multiple values. The very first value is an element, and the second value is an index, and the third value is something called an array. Okay. So these are the basic parameters what we will pass inside the callback function. Again, I'm telling you, if you have any questions, please go here and you can check here. Here, element, index, and the array. So the element is nothing but the current element being processed in the array. The index value is nothing but the index of the particular element inside the array, and the array is nothing but the function where we are applying the map method. That's it. Okay. So now what I will do, I will just comment out this part and I will show you how it will work. So map. So first element is a compulsory element, that is a mandatory. After that, you can pass the index or may not pass the index. No one will ask you, or you can pass the array as well. Okay. The array is nothing but the element or the array which we are passing. Okay. So first of all, I will go not go with all this element and index. First of all, I will go here and just put a console.log here and I will just print that element. Let's see what will happen here. Okay. Here we are not doing anything. Instead of writing a simple for loop, okay, instead of sending the entire what it is called, instead of sending a or writing a for loop or for each or for in, we are just using a map method. It just look like a for loop. Okay, it's nothing much. See what I will do, I will run this code. If you see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, if you observe that one in our previous output also we saw the same kind of output, right? The same thing map function will work. Okay, right. Now what we want to do, apart of the simple for loop, what additionally we can do, we can apply this map on each and every element on the iteration. For example, what I will do is, let's say you are passing an element here. I hope you are remember last time when we discussed about this simple functions thing. If you are writing a single line of code, you don't need to put these curly braces. Instead of that, I will put something like element into two. Basically what it will do, it will return the value. Okay. And one more thing, if you are passing a function argument in a single argument, then you don't need to put that half moon brackets as well. Just put that element, arrow operator, whatever the value you want to return, you can put. Usually how we will do, we will write a function like this, and we will do something like this, right? Return something like this, right? This is how we will do, right? So whenever you are doing something like this, the original array will be as it is. It won't change. Remember, this is a very major important point. Remember, original array will not change. Let's say there is a new array. That new array will save here. So now what I will do is I will just put a console.log on this new array and see how this will work. So if you observe this one, I'm getting a new array, but I'm multiplying each and every element into 2 times. Okay. Now, okay. So now original array is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, but I have multiplied the each and every element into 2 times. I'm just getting into the new array. Again, I've told you the major important point is original array won't change. So I just try to display this one. See, the actual array is as it is, but the new array is modified. That's it, simple. So where we are using these maps, everywhere, wherever you want to use that particular, see, it's based on a scenario. For example, there is somebody given you uh, something like a student array. Okay. The student array is nothing but one array where it is nothing but a group of some objects. Let's imagine this is the response which is coming from the MySQL DB or Postgre or MongoDB, whatever. Basically, it is an object, right? So the object will return here. Let's say the serial number is a 1. Okay. Name is something like a Balu. That's it. Similarly, serial number 2 and name is something like a Ram. Okay. So similarly, serial number is 3 and name is something like a Dinesh. Something like this. Okay. Now, somebody ask you a question like, can you filter out, or can you just add that serial number to into multiply by 100 on each and every object? So you don't need to write again a for loop and looping over all the stuff. That is really very bad. Instead of that, what you will do, you will take a student array. Okay, so I can do something like this. I can do something like a let a new student array. This is my new student array. So here what I will do is I will apply the map method or mapper here, student array dot map, and here I will pass one callback method. Inside every callback, you will pass one element here. Okay, right. Inside the element, that is nothing but a one JSON object. Remember one thing: whatever you are passing, this is a zeroth index element. This is entire one element. This is entirely another element, and this is entirely another element. Okay, so there are only three elements. This is index zero. This is index one. This is index two. Right. So now I'm passing the element. Now what I want to do is I want to change the serial number by multiplied by 100. Now basically what you will do, element dot serial number into 100. That's it. Now you are returning this value, and let's say if you want to display this new student array, then what will happen? Okay, let's see. I'm just comment out this one for a time being. Okay, element dot SNO into 100. Okay, just a minute. First of all, let me display that element here. Okay, now let's see what will. Yeah, I understand. Return statement must be there. Okay, so basically there are three elements are there. So now we are getting this one. So now what I will do, I will just return this one. So let's see. Okay, 100, 200, 300. Now this is the simplest way. Okay, I mean to say, like, if you want to loop over any of your what it is called, uh, I can say like any of the array, you don't need to write a for loop and for each and all. Instead of that, you can do in this way. Okay, and remember one thing: if you are passing an entire object here, and you don't need to worry about writing an element inside that, you are writing element or serial number and all. You can write a simple shortcuts here. Okay, what I will do, I don't want to write a element like this, so I'll just remove this one. I'll paste it here. Now I'm passing element, right? Instead of element, you can pass another array. Let's say something like a serial number, comma name. Basically, this is one object. That's it, right? Now instead of element dot serial number, you can go just put a serial number dot this one. Anyways, we are not utilizing the name, so you can leave it as it is. But see what will happen here: 100, 200, 300. So there is no need of return statement, and simply you can pass an object. This is what called a destructuring of an object. I hope you are aware of ES6 concept. So one thing you need to remember: destructuring of an object, in the sense whatever the keys are there, you can pass an entire keys as a normal variables here. It will consider as a shallow copy. I mean to say, like, it's a duplicate copy. Okay, don't forget about that. That's it, simple. And let's say if you okay, I will just uncomment this one. As I mentioned here, sometimes we need to have that index as well. Okay, so if you want index as well, right, along with this one, I will pass an index value here. Okay, and I'm not doing this one. Simply I can put a console.log. In the console.log, I will put something element. Okay, and space with index value is a index value. That's it. Now here what will happen? See, I'm just consoling that particular element 10 with index 0, 20 with index 1, so on, so on, so on. That's it. I'm not expecting anything much. 10 with index 0, 20 with so on, so on, so 50 with index 0, something like this. Okay. By this undefined, undefined, basically we are not returning anything, right? So in that cases, we don't need any extra element as well. Just put that one. That's enough. More than enough. Okay, this is how the simple map will work. Okay, I hope you guys are already aware of this one, but yeah, but it's a somewhat tricky. I mean, these are very simple things, but tomorrow if you are going for any interviews and all, right, people won't ask you a very simple questions like this. Okay, let's go with a little bit tough or something. Okay, now what I have, something like I have one student array here. Okay, so in my student array, this is my student array. Now people will ask you something like this: now change this array into an object where serial number is my key, where my serial number is a key, and whereas my value is a value inside the object. That's it. Okay, so I want a object something like this: one value, and two something like this, and name is something like a Ram, something like this. Okay, so basically you need to convert this entire objects, group of objects, into a single object where serial number is my first key and name is my value. That's a key value page, right? You need to create a pair, something like this. So basically what you need to do, you don't need to like loop over by using a for loop and all. Instead of that, simply you can do one thing. What I will do, let's say I will take one object here. It's an object, right? So I will take one empty object here. Okay, now let's say I will go for a console.log and I will put an object here. Usually what you are expecting is empty object, right? So the same way, empty object will come. Now I need to map this particular student array, something like this, dot map of. Inside the map, definitely remember one thing, one callback will be here. The callback is something like this. Now, what you need to do is you need to pass the particular parameters. Let's say I'm passing the element place. Inside the element, I'm passing one complete object. You can take something like an element. Later, you can use like a element dot serial number, element dot name. Instead of that, I will just pass all the serial number and the name here. Now, I need to create an object, right? So this is my object of serial number, whatever it is, equals to name. That's it. Okay, now let me run this code and see what will happen. 1 Balu, 2 Ram, 3 for Dinesh, something like this. Usually, in which scenarios we will use? Definitely, if the data is coming from the backend and in the form of an array, and usually what happened, right? Sometimes if you pass this object is a very big object and you can't pass this entire object into the front end, and front end people can't, loop over or manipulate this object. That is the reason, as a backend guy, as a Node.js developer, what you will do, you will convert it into a simple object and you will pass it to the front end guys, and the front end guys can utilize a simple object. Basically, object is a very lightweight element, right? So definitely they can do this. Okay, if you guys are a little bit okay, I will just give a simple question. Usually I used to take interviews, right? By the time I use people to write or explain the map function, they will give some simple examples like this. Now I will ask something like this. Let's say my array is here. Okay, my array is something like a 1 2 3 2 1 4 5 4 6 5. Okay, if you observe this one, right, there are a lot of elements which are repeating, right? There are a lot of duplicate elements. Now I ask somebody to remove the duplicate elements, but only you should use a map function. By using a array.map, how you can create one new, basically it is not an interview, but definitely I need to tell you, there is something called a prototype. Okay, this concept you need to understand. Usually we will ask interviews like this, like create one new function. It should something like this. Okay, so basically what we will do, array.map we will use, right? Instead of array.map, I will use something like remove duplicates. See, there is no such a function here, but it should work as it is. So how you can implement that? So basically what they will do, they will do something like this, array dot prototype. Okay, prototype is a very big concept. We will discuss about that later. If you have any questions about that, just add your question here. I mean, if you want me to go with that one, we will discuss that here if you add here. Okay, so remove duplicates is my method. I want to implement that by using a map function. I will give you just a 1 minute of time or 2 minutes of time. If anybody can want to give a try, just give a try and paste your code in here. Or please let me know once you guys are trying that. No. Sandeep, Divyansh, Sandeep, Rajesh, Veera. Are you giving a try to remove the duplicates from this particular array? Okay, Rajesh is giving a try. Okay. Okay, you guys can try, but let me go ahead because people are waiting here, right? So okay, I want to create a unique array. So I'll just take one unique array equals to some empty array. Basically, this is the array which I want to return. So usually what you will do, like this is my original array, dot mapper will apply here. Okay, inside the mapper I will write one callback method here. Inside the callback method, I will pass each and every element inside the map. So that is nothing but an element here. Okay, now whenever you pass the element, first of all I will check one condition. If that our unique array dot Index of is one of the method. It's a predefined method. It will check whether the particular element is existed in the particular array or not. You applied index of inside the unique array, right? First, you will check index of this particular element is found or not. If it is not found, then definitely it will return a -1. If it is a -1 means the particular element is not there inside the unique array. So basically what you need to do, if it is not there, then simply you can use the predefined method, something called a push, and simply you can put something like a that element value. That's it. Now, what you will do after this mapper is finished, just put a console.log here and just display that U array here. Simple. So my array elements are this much, but I got only unique elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did you guys understood what I'm doing here?
No, actually, that equals to -1 is what it will do if condition.
Index of is the thing there, right? Index of will check whether the particular element is present in the array or not. If it is present, then it will return the index. For example, let's say 1 is present at some particular fifth location, then it will return a 5. If it is not
Okay.
present, then it will return -1. So inside the
Then
unique array,
how it was filtered? How it was filtered the array?
no, it is not filtering. -1 means
No,
not present. -1 means it is
no, no,
not
no. The output given as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unique numbers as given.
right. So first of all, inside the map function, element will pass, right? The first element will come here at the very first time. It will check whether the one element is inside the unique array or not. It is not there, right? It is -1 means it is
Yeah,
not there. So immediately it will
yeah,
push
yeah.
the element 1. Next time it will check for a 2. 2 is not there, so it will push the 2. So 2 value came here. Next
Okay,
3,
okay. You
2 is already present, so next time it will not push. Simple if condition, right? Okay. Now we already learn about the map. So now it is your responsibility to do some question. I mean to say like to answer my question. It is not for today, but tomorrow at least you need to answer. Okay. So let's say okay, I will do something like this. Let's say there is my array. Let me pass it here. Let's try to understand this question. Basically, in a lot of interview questions, I ask this question, but some people may did this and some people may not answer properly. Okay. So let me my array is something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And along with that, I will write take one variable called n equals to 3. Let's remember one thing. I'm not able to unmute Thirumal Rao Totapalli. Okay. Okay. Can you try now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so now usually I will ask people to do something like this. Okay, my array is function something like this. Left rotate. Left rotate is my function. Inside the function, I will pass two parameters: array and n. Okay, array and n. N, remember one thing. N stands for the number of rotations. And finally, I will return some value. Whereas that is an array. It can be an array or any duplicate array. Let's say duplicate array. Let's say, or rotated array, right? So I will put something like a rotated array. Okay, this is my variable we are returning something. But what is rotated array? Let's say my rotated array is an empty array here. Now what you need to do is whenever I'm calling this function left rotate of array, okay, so console.log, and if I put or call here, then immediately what I supposed to get is my array should become 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So how it will happen? Okay. So let me explain you what you need to do. You need to apply some method on an array and do something. So n values are 3. So 3 times you need to rotate. Remember the rule. Every time whenever you are rotating the array, for every rotation, the first element will go to the last place. So n equals to 3, right? So first time when you rotate your array will become like this: 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. That is the rule. Every rotation, first element should go to the last place. And on the second rotation, your first element will go to the last place. Now your array will become 4, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Again, third rotation, your array will become something like this. Now the first element is a 3, so it will go to the last 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So this is what my expectation is. Let's see if I give the value n value equals to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will become again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is what the rotation rule is. On every rotation, the first element will go to the last place. Now, when I put a 3, so first 3 elements will go to the last place and my array will become a 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So now you need to find out or write some map method or filter or whatever you want to do that. Yeah, you can do it by using a for loop or for each or for in anything. But Remember one thing, whatever the code you will write here, right? Okay, write your code here. Sorry. Okay, so write your code and just get the output here. I'm just pasting here in your our Google Drive. So what you need to do is you just need to solve this and share your codes here or somewhere. Just put your name and mention that, okay, this is my output or this is my code. Okay. Okay. That is what all about mapper function. If you need any more examples, please do let me know so that we will discuss more. I mean, as I mentioned, like go to Lead Code or somewhere, definitely you will get a lot of examples for practice. Okay, now let me go with another one, something called a filter. Okay, basically, you know what is a filter is. I definitely hope that you guys are really aware of what is a filter. Filter, the name itself, it is indicates that you are trying to filter some things from the array. And definitely remember that this filter will apply only on the arrays. It will not apply on any of the other primitive or non-primitive data types. It will always apply on the arrays. So basically what filter method will do, the method of an array instance create a shallow copy, that means a duplicate copy of a portion of the given array, filter down the just elements from the given array that pass the test implementation by the provided function. I mean to say, like whatever the callback method you will pass, based on the callback method, it will filter some values. It's a very simple example I can tell you. Okay. So just take something called an array. I'm taking some array, something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say. Now, somebody asks you to filter out all the even numbers from this particular array. Now, I can put something like even array equals to. Okay, so this is my array. On the top of that, I want to implement something called a filter. As I mentioned earlier, this is the syntax for filter. So filter is one of the method. Inside the filter method, we will pass one callback. That's it. Again, the same way, this callback will take multiple parameters. The first parameter is an element, and the second parameter is an index, and obviously the third parameter is an array. Okay. So inside the filter method, whatever you will pass, that's fine. That should be a callback. So callback in the sense, either you can write a simple function, something like this, or you can use a arrow function. Arrow function in the sense, see, this will work here. Okay. Now, how you can filter out the elements? So basically, element is nothing but a parameter to the callback what you are using. Inside the callback, you need to apply some condition. Let's say I will put something like a element modulus 2. Okay, is equals to 0 or not. Okay, triple equals to, always mention that strict equals to here. Okay, now here, as I mentioned, right, if you are writing a one line of code, definitely there is no need of this curly braces and all. Just put a element modulus 2 equals to 0. So now put a even array as a console.log. Okay, that's it. Simple. Save. See, 2 and 4 are the only even numbers in my array. So definitely that will print only 2 and 4. So where we will use, obviously, as I mentioned, right, in the real time there are scenarios where where you need to filter out your array. For example, if I take my student array here. Okay, so let's say this is my student array here. Okay, so you know that, right? Sometimes we do have a search bars, and inside the search bars you will apply something. I mean, based on that you need to filter out some values, right? So basically somebody asks you like, okay, there are something like a Balu, a Ram, and Ramesh. Let's say there are three names are there, serial number 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you need to filter out the objects from this particular student array and print only the name starts with the R. Let's say somebody asks you, print out only the names whose name starts with the R. Okay, let name start with the R. This is my variable. Okay, now student array is my array. Dot, just filter out the names whatever you want, and remember one thing, always you need to pass one callback. So this is my callback. So inside the callback, whatever you are passing, that is nothing but an element. Okay, so inside the element you need to write out some condition. Based on the condition you will return that values. Like I will write one simple if condition. I'm sorry, I'm writing one simple if condition. If element is there, element dot name will be there. Okay, so if you are aware of, there is one string function called starts with. If you are aware of, then it's fine. Otherwise, I'm just showing you how the syntax will be. See, string prototype starts with. Okay, basically starts with, if you give the letter, that will return either true or false. So the same way I'm applying here. Elements dot name is my name dot starts with. Okay. So what is starts with? Starts with the R. That means if it is a true, then you need to return the element. Otherwise not. Element in the sense the entire object will come here and it will push it to here. Now what I will do, I will just put a console.log here. I will just print the name starts with the R from this object. Let's see what is the output. So Ram and Ramesh, these are the only two students whose name starts with the R. If you guys have any questions, please speak out. I'll give a pass for a minute. No? Great. That means people are either you are you are well known about this filter method or you are totally not understood this method. Okay. Then it's fine. Both cases it's fine. Okay. So now we will go with something called a reduce. Okay. Use okay, fine. So reduce is one of the method. Okay. So how this reduce method will do? As usual, as I'm telling you, just go here and just check for reduce method. Okay, this is my reduce method. Okay, so what reduce method will do? See, there are a few scenarios you need to understand how the reduce will work. Okay, reduce always the current value starts with the first index. I mean to say, like, basically reduce method is having two types. Okay, there are two types. What are those two types? First of all, let me explain that one first, and then we will go with the other things. Okay, so just listen a little bit carefully. Basically, I will ask some questions on this one. Why I'm stressing this point? People are not aware of this one, right? So that is the reason. Okay, fine. These guys are always bringing me. Okay. Okay, so this is my reduce method. Okay, reduce methods are two types. Okay, the first type is something like this. This is a reduce, and inside that we will pass callback method. That's it, nothing much. Okay, so there are a second type. Inside the second type, we are having a reduce method. Okay, inside the reduce method, we will pass two parameters. One is a callback, another one is an initial value. Okay, so there are two types. Always remember, one is a reduce callback, and another one is a reduce callback with the initial value. So what is a callback and what is the initial value on that? If you are passing only callback, then always, okay, the current value starts with the index 1. I mean to say, like, index with 1, with index 1. That's it. Okay. Now, if it is a reduce and if we have any callback and initial value, then always the current value starts with the 0th index. Okay. Now, what is this first index or always with a 0th index? What is this difference? I will just give you a very simple example. But before I'm going to the reduce, first of all, you need to understand what is this callback is, right? Okay. As you mentioned previously, right? In the callback, we are passing element, index, array. That is what you saw here, right? Similarly, if you are going for a map function, inside the map function also, inside the callback, we are passing three parameters, element, index, array, right? But here, we are not passing any element, array, index, and that. Instead of that, this callback will take a two parameters. The first parameter is called a accumulator. What is accumulator? Accumulator is nothing but a some function which is return some value. That's it. What is that some function? What is that some value which is written in that? We will discuss about this one. Okay, just give me 2 minutes, then you can understand some function which is written some value. And the second value is nothing but a current value. Current value. So what is this current value? Current value is nothing but the value in the current iteration. Okay. So what is this current value and what is the current iteration? We will talk about those things. Okay. First of all, I will write down a simple example. Based on that simple example, you can understand what is this reduce function, how this function will work. Okay. Now, basically, let's say you have an array. Inside the array, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are my elements. Okay. Okay. Now you are aware of this one. See, 1 is at a 0th index. Okay. If you don't want to confuse this one, so that is the reason I'm taking like a 10, 20, 30, and 40 and 50, let's say. Now, 10 is in the 0th index, 20 is in the first index, 30 is in the 2 index, 40 index 3, 50 index 4. Correct? Right. Now, let's say I'm using a array dot reduce method. And remember one thing, array dot map or array dot filter will return the entire array. always remember that it will return a entire array. But array.reduce will return only one value. What is that value? I don't know. I will tell you. Okay, I don't know till now, but I will tell you. Okay, so inside the reduce method, this will also take one callback. This is what I wrote, right? Reduce callback. Okay, so first of all, you need to write one callback. I guess you know what is a callback is. This is what my callback is. Simple. Now, when you are using a callback, always the current value starts with the index one. Let's say you are taking a element. Let's say the first element is always called as a accumulator. The second value is always called the current value. Let's say you are not passing any accumulator and currently you are taking the current value. Let's say, okay. So accumulator in this is ACC. Consider it's ACC. You can put a give name. You can give a name like accumulator, entire word. Somebody will ask like current value. Okay, current value. Somebody may ask like, sir, do we need to really use this accumulator current value or something? No, you don't need to. You can take a x comma y. That's fine. Okay, you can take a comma b. That's fine. Anything is fine. But always remember, the first parameter, whatever you are taking, that is always an accumulator. And the second parameter, whatever you are taking, always it is a current value. Clear? Okay. So for your understanding purpose, I'm just putting an ACC and this is a current value. That's it. Now, I'm not doing anything. I'm just putting a simple console.log and I want to see what is the current value. Okay. Now, if I run the program, what is the output you are expecting here? As I mentioned already in the notes, like reduce callback, always the current value starts with index one if you are passing only the callback. If you are passing only the callback, and always the current value starts with the index one. That means it will be ignored 10. 10 will be ignored. Okay. What JavaScript compiler will do? This guy is only passing one parameter that is nothing but a callback. Inside the callback, whatever the current value, it will consider from the index one. It will consider from the index one. So now if you run this one, my output should be 20, 30, 40, 50, right? 20, 30, 40, 50. That's it. That is what I mentioned here. When you are passing only callback, always the current value start with the index one. Start your, let's say you are writing your reduce function with the callback and initial value, then always the current value start with index 0. Let's see how this goes. Okay. Now, this is my what it is called, first example. Now go with the second example. So this is my reduce function. I'm passing one callback method. Okay. Along with the callback method, I'm passing one initial value. Let's say I'm passing a 0. Somebody asked me like, why we need to pass a 0? Why can't I pass 100? Yes, you can pass. Did I pass? Is it okay if I pass -8? Yes, that's fine. If I pass a, is it okay? Yes. If you pass something like a Balu, that's fine. Anything. But the value should be here. Whatever the second parameter you are passing, that is called the initial value. Okay. Then where we are using this initial value, I will tell you. Just wait for a minute. Okay. Now, if you are passing an initial value, okay, it will always start with the index 0. And always remember that initial value can be anything. Okay, like it can be a number, or it can be a string, or it can be undefined, or it can be a null. Anything, that's fine. Anything is okay. But just pass with the 0 and see what will happen. First, I will start with the number data. Let's see if I pass 0. And if you run this program, you can expect output something like a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Why? Because as I mentioned, if you are passing a callback and initial value, always the current value starts with the 0th index. That means now JavaScript will consider like the first element and pass the value from the first element. Now see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. How many of you are really not understood this one? Please raise your hands or just ask your questions. As I mentioned, I can pass a string here, but still I'm expecting the same output. As I mentioned, if I pass a null value, still I'm getting the same output. As I mentioned, if I pass undefined value, then it's fine. Anything is fine. It will return or it will consider from the 0th index. If you are not passing this one, definitely the output should be different and it should be 20, 30, 40, 50. Are we clear?
So what is the difference when you are passing the parameter there?
Okay, we will discuss. I mean, what is the importance of this initial value? I will let you know. Definitely, I will let you know. Just understand this one and let me know. Like you understood the difference between passing initial value and not passing initial value, right?
Yeah, that we understood.
Super. Now come back to the next one. Now, as I mentioned, like always, it will pass take two parameters. One is the accumulator and the current value. Okay. And remember one thing, this callback function can be anything. Either it is a can be normal function or arrow function. Normal function in the sense it's a nameless function, any nameless function or a arrow function. That's fine. Okay. Now accumulator current value, got it. Okay. Initial value you are passing. Fine. Now just he asked like what if we are passing what is the importance of this initial value? Why we need to pass this initial value? Okay. Right. Now let me first of all let me write this one. Okay. Now if let's say I am not passing initial value, but I am printing the current value and the accumulator. Sorry, accumulator. I'm just consoling the two values because I'm passing accumulator and the current value, two values, right? So I want to print the current value and the accumulator, or else let me commit in a reverse way. First accumulator and okay. You will be confused. So that is the real first I'm printing current value and then accumulator. Okay. So okay. So what if I'm not passing initial value? Usually what I told, JavaScript will always start the execution or picking the values from the array at a index 1. That is what we told, right? So as I mentioned earlier, you can see here, right? So where I told something here. Okay, current value accumulator and okay, okay. So I passed about accumulator, right? I told about accumulator, some function which is returning some value. So the accumulator is nothing but the value which is returning from the particular function. Okay. Now let's say if you're executing this one, at the time of executing, see this reducer is having one callback, right? Definitely what is callback means? Callback is nothing but one function. Right? Every function will return some value. That is what we learned from our childhood, like C, C++, Java, and all that. Every function will return a value. So whatever the value which is returning from this callback, that is nothing but an accumulator. Okay. So let's say I'm not passing any function here. Okay. Let's say I'm not passing any initial value here. By that time, what this callback function will return, at the first iteration, it will return the 0th index. From the second iteration, it will return undefined value. Listen properly. Usually, if you are not passing any initial value here, by that time, execution starts or current value takes from the index 1. So for the index 1, the accumulator value is the index 0th value. But for remaining elements, it is an undefined value. For example, if I am executing this particular program, by that time, current value is a 20. Okay, it's picking from the first place. But accumulator value is a 10 because it's an index. And at the time of next element, when it is picking 30, the current value is a 30, but accumulator means it is nothing because this function is not returning anything. So it is undefined. When you are picking the 40, undefined. 50, it is undefined. Only for the first index element, the accumulator value is nothing but a 0th element. That's it. Save. I'm running this program. You can see when the JavaScript compiler try to pick the index of first element, 0th element is the return value for this particular callback method. But for remaining all other elements, the callback function is not returning anything, so it is printing undefined. Now, people may have a question, what if this function is returning some value? Now, let's say I'm just keeping one return statement, let's say 10, or let's say minus 56. Okay, whatever you want, you can put it. Okay, I'm just keeping some value. Now, what will happen? When JavaScript code is trying to execute this one, first it will check whether the reduce function is having a second parameter or not. Second parameter in this is the first parameter is a callback, second parameter is the initial value. There is no initial value. So basically, it will start picking from the index 1. When it is starting picking index 1, index 0th element is the return value. And for remaining all the elements like 30, 40, 50, it will go and ask the callback function like what you are written. Then the callback function is saying like I'm returning minus 56. So instead of undefined, we are getting a minus 56. Clear?
Yeah, we are clear on this.
I'm just talking about only the one type of, only first type this time, only reduce with the callback. That's it. Okay. Now, I will just comment out this one and I will go with the second type. Second type in the sense, let's say there is a reduced function which is having initial value, right? That is a 0. Now, in this case, what will happen? Okay. In this case, whenever you pass initial value, always the execution starts with the 10, 20, from the 0th index, right? So that is what we are receiving here. But when I put a accumulator here. Okay, now you can see the accumulator value and the current value. So when you are taking a first parameter, when you're starting execution from the first parameter, JavaScript function or JavaScript compiler will go here and the JavaScript engine will return some value. What is that written value? That is a 0. Okay. And for the 20, it is a whatever the value which is returned from this one, that value. That means this callback is not returning anything. So obviously it is undefined. So undefined will apply for 20, 30, 40, 50. But for the first element, whatever the initial value is there, that will return that value. Now, if I execute that one, what I'm expecting is current value is a 10, accumulator is the initial value 0. Current value is a 20, accumulator is nothing, undefined, because this function is not returning anything. So let's say you go and check in here 10 and 0, undefined, undefined, undefined. Now people may have a question, why if I put something like a value, a string, now what will happen? For a first value or an index 0 value, always the initial value is the returned value from the callback. And for remaining all the elements, whatever the returned value to the callback, that will return. So for this callback, it is nothing. So only for the 10, the return value is a value. But remaining all the elements, it will return a undefined. Let's see. Now, my question is return something like a 90, let's say, return 90. Now what will happen? In this case, on the very first execution, first JavaScript engine will check whether the reduce function is having a 1 parameter or 2 parameters. Yes, there are 2 parameters. That means initial value is here. Whatever the initial value, that will applicable for the 10. But for the remaining elements, whatever this callback is returning, that value will come here. So return 90 is there, right? That 90 is applicable as a return value for 20, 30, 40, and 50. Now, let's see. Are we clear? Guys, please speak out. I'm getting fear like whether you are understand these things or
We are clear on that.
clear, right? Okay, great. So let's play with this one. I mean to say, like, I will try to understand. I hope that I given a proper explanation for this reduce. Always remember that reduce function is a 2 types. One is a only having a callback as a parameter for the reduce, and the second type is a callback with initial value. If you are having a callback only, then the execution always starts with the index first element in the array, wherever the array you are applying the reduce method. If you are passing a callback and initial value, callback will execute, but the initial value is the first return value for the 0th index element inside the array, and for the other element, whatever the return value you are returning from that particular callback, that value will be returned. Simple. Okay. Okay. Now, as I mentioned already, so you don't need to put accumulator or current value and all. Instead of that, you can give any names like A and B or X and Y. Anything is fine. But always remember, the first parameter is always the accumulator, and the second parameter is the current value. That's it. Okay. Okay. Let's play with this one. But wait. If I did I miss anything else? No. Okay, great. Now you guys give me the answer. Okay, fast fingers fast. Okay, so I have an array, something like a 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm just using a reduce method on the top of this array. You can directly use this one. You don't need to take any particular variables or not. Okay, inside this I'm passing to one callback. Inside of the callback I'm passing something like accumulate on the current value is a comma b. Now now I'm just going here. I'm just printing a console.log. Okay, I just print a comma b. Now what is output here? Just waiting for 3 more answers. That's it.
So let A be.
Come on, no one is answering here. Sandeep, Veera, Divyansh.
First, it will print like 1, then 2, 3.
2, 1, 3 undefined. Okay, Rajesh told something like this: 2, 1, and 3 and
2, 1.
undefined.
Sorry, 2, 1, 3, undefined.
Okay, so everyone stick to the same answer. Okay, let's see. 1, 2 undefined 3, because first you are printing accumulator and then current value. Again and again, I mentioned that first parameter is the accumulator, second parameter is the current value, right? So in this case, so the execution starts with the 2 and 3, definitely, because there is no initial value. So 2 and 3. So 2 and 3 will comes to here. Okay. Right. So accumulate 2, 1, 3 undefined, right? No, this is not the right answer, right? So this is the right answer. Let me explain the right answer. Okay, so this is the current value, this is the accumulator. So let's say there is nothing. So I will just put a XXX, something like this. This is my accumulator and this is my accumulator. Okay, so because the execution is at 2, so first 2 will print there and next 3 will print. Now come back to the accumulator. So whenever you are doing this one, the first time, because there is initial value, so 0th index, whatever the value is here, that is the accumulator value for the first time. And for the next elements, whatever the next elements are there, for the next element, there is nothing. I mean, it is like there is nothing is there, so you just need to return undefined. Because this console is not returning anything, right? So all answers are wrong. Rajesh wrong, Sandeep wrong, Veera is also. Now let me give you another question here. I'm passing a initial value with a 0. Now, what will happen here? What happened? Okay, if you guys are confused, then I will do something. Accumulator and current value. This is the way you can easily guess the answer. Okay, now what is the output? Come on, guys. 1, 1, undefined 2, undefined 3. Okay. Okay, 0, 1. Okay. Okay, let me explain this one. So whenever you are having initial value, then execution starts with the first element, right? So first of all, let's consider there is a no accumulator. Okay. So 3 times the execution will be here. That is for sure because 3 elements will print, right? So the first element is a 1, second element is a 2, and the third element is a 3. Now, as I mentioned, whatever the initial value, that is a accumulator value for the first element. From the next second element, whatever this callback is returning, that is the value. For example, for this, there is no callback. So callback is not returning anything. So undefined, and here it is a undefined. Great. Somebody is able to answer the question. Divyans. The 0, 1 undefined to undefined. Okay. If you want to execute this function, I'm executing it. 0, 1 undefined to undefined. Okay. Sandeep is correct. Right. Okay. Now let me go with some simple, I mean, make it little bit tricky. And remember one thing. Okay. Now, what I will do, I will just take one array, something like this. Okay. Just 1 or 2 questions. Okay. We will finish the call very soon. Okay. Just hold on for a minute. So 1, minus 100, let's say minus 67 and 56. This is my array. Okay. On the top of it, I'm just applying some reduce method. Always remember this reduce will take one callback and one return value, I mean initial value. Okay, what let's consider that 57 is my initial value. Okay, and whatever it is returning, I'm just trying to keep it inside the max value. This is my variable. What I will do, I will just put a console.log of max value. My method. Let's see. Now inside the callback, what I will try to write is, right? We will pass a 2 parameters. One is accumulator, and next one is a current value. Right? Simple. Now from here, I need to use a return statement. Basically, I'm doing some operation. So even if you don't want, you can remove the curly brace and do that. I'm just using a math library. I hope in a JavaScript you know the what is a math library. Max of, okay, accumulator comma current value. See, just understand this code. Okay, I'm not asking you to write the code, but try to understand the code. So there is one array on the top of that. I'm applying some reduce method. Inside that, I'm passing one callback and the initial value. So whenever you are passing the initial value, obviously the execution starts with the first element itself. So when you are passing the initial value at the first value is a current value 1, but the initial value or accumulator is a 57. So accumulator will be 57. Basically, what this return statement will do, it will return the biggest number among the two values. Okay. Finally, we will return one value here, max value, because reducer will work on all the elements of the number. So, can somebody guess what is the output of this program? Or if you want any explanation, I can do that.
Initially, it returns 57, the first one.
Okay.
Then,
No, finally, what we will get, because we will get only one answer.
okay,
Remember that,
okay.
because we are writing a return value and keep it inside only one variable, right? So definitely we will get only one value. What is that value? This is what the beauty of a reduce function. I will tell you. Okay, so one, Sandeep given answer like a one is the answer, right? Next one. At least two answers, please. Two more. Okay. Then I will continue the programming. Okay. See, basically, this is a reduce method. Inside the reduce method, we will pass one callback, and this is the initial value, right? So whenever you are passing initial value, execution starts with the first element. That means the current element is a 1. That means current value is a 1. So what is the accumulator value? Whatever the initial value is there, that is the accumulator value. That is a 57, right? Are we clear? Now, out of the math.max of accumulator comma current value, that means 57 comma 1. What is the biggest one? 57, right? So this is returning 57 first time. Okay, this is returning a 57, let's say first time. Now, second time, when you go here and the reduce method will go with the minus 100. Minus 100 is my current value. So what is accumulator? Accumulator is nothing but the some function which is returning some value. So this is the function which is already returned a 57. So my accumulator is a 57 here. Now it will compare math.max of accumulator comma current value. That means 57 comma minus 100. The biggest number is a 57. So 57 will be returned for the next element. Now remove this one. Now the reduce function will apply on a minus 67. That means my current value is a minus 67, but the accumulator value is a 57. Already it is there. See, this is what returned, right? Earlier it was returned. So now out of 57 and minus 67, 57 is the biggest one. So 57 here again, same. Next one, the iteration will go to the next element. The next element is a 56. So the current value is a 56 and the accumulator value is a current value is a 57. Now out of 57 and 56, what is the biggest number? 57. So that will return a 57 and keep it inside the max value because the array is done. Already array iteration is done. So max value is 57. That is what I'm expecting here. Now you understood, right? So whatever the previous iteration is there, for that iteration, whatever the output is returned from this callback, that is the input as an accumulator for the next element reduce method. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, my last question. Okay, I won't bother you much. This is my last question. Just hold for a minute. Okay. Now let's say I will put something like a return val. Okay. Let's see how much you understood. I have something like a 175 is my element, and 50 is my element, and 25 is my element. Just take a pen and paper, guys. That will be easy for you to do this one. Okay. So reduce is my method. Inside the reduce method, I need to pass two parameters or one parameter. That is depends on my scenario. So now I'm not passing any second parameter. I'm passing only one parameter. Remember one thing, only one parameter. Here I'm passing something like a total, comma, number. Okay. Now I'm returning some value here. What is that value is total minus sum. Oh, sorry. Sum. Okay. Now I'll just put a console.log here and I will put a return value here. So what is the return value I expect? Oh, sorry, it is not a sum, it's a num. Remember, this total is a accumulator and number is a current value. This is the accumulator and this is the current value. Why I didn't change, I changed that names because if I put accumulator and current value, right, you will keep it, it will be very easy for you. That is the reason I changed those names. And now try to execute this function and see like what this reducer will return.
So first time it is 50. So in the first iteration, it will be like a 175 and 125. And in the second iteration, for second number, it is undefined and 50.
Okay. So what is the final answer? Okay, somebody told 125 and 150. Rajesh, remember one thing. There are no two values, only one value, because I'm just consoling only one value, right? Written value. That's it.
Hmm.
So only one value will come here. So just confirm what is your answer here. 125. Superb. 125. Superb. Okay, let's see. So basically, when you are okay, Divyansh 100. Okay, great. So let's say I'm not passing any second parameter, then the execution always takes from the array of first element. That means this is my current element. So the second number is a 50, and accumulator is nothing but the index of zeroth element, that is a 175, right? This is what we learned. So what we are returning for the next iteration, we are returning total minus number value. So total minus number in the sense 175 minus 50, that is a 125 we are supposed to return for the next iteration, right? Okay, done. On the next iteration, so 50 is done, right? Now come with a 25. Now my current number is a 25, and the accumulator value is nothing but the previous value which is written from the callback method, that is a 125. So 125 minus 25, that is a 100. Okay, Divyansh is correct and remaining all are wrong. So sorry sir, I'm unable to focus due to meeting going on in company. That's okay. Okay, 100 is the right answer. Okay, I think you guys are okay, but if you guys want to continue, we will continue, or if you want to stop here and continue tomorrow, we will go ahead on that thing. Because somebody is saying like have some meetings and all, right? You just say yes or no so that we will continue or we will stop.
Yeah. We continue tomorrow. Sir. Yeah.
We will continue tomorrow then. Okay, fine. Thank you guys, thank you so much. I will update my notes in this Google Drive. Okay, let's see. Divyansh, already people will say that we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, we'll go ahead and continue tomorrow. No worries. Just try to finish your work. Okay, I'll update my notes here, and let's see tomorrow how many of you are really comfortable with this. What it is called reduce method. There are a lot of examples like removing the duplicates or flatten the array or object manipulation. There are a lot of stuff we can do by using LLMs. And please try to access this page, and I mean this Google page, and try to add your questions. Whatever you have, please add your questions and highlight those things. Definitely, Sandeep, I will go with the event book tomorrow, and hosting also Divyansh, I will go tomorrow. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Then have a nice day. Bye bye. Please provide your phone number, Thirumal Rao. Thank you, sir. Okay. Thirumal Rao, already I have given my number, right? Everybody knows that. Okay. 8179749039. So this is my WhatsApp number. Just save this number, and you can just ping me on WhatsApp and mention that it is a Thirumal Rao so that I will add you in the group. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you.